Good morning, my friend. Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having us to your beautiful hotel here.
Such an honor to have you, and you drive all the way from Saigon to Zanie by San Ho.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. And you've been here for 3 years in our country already.
Yes, 3 years in total.
In 3 years in total.
2 years in Huing area, and 1 year was in Nha Trang.
Nha Trang.
Yes.
Wow.
I used to work for Fin Group.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming to this country to help our staff to gain to the next level of professional and exposure to, the world-class services, and having a chance to come to your hotel and interview you to our show is a really great honor. This conversation is not about us; it's about you.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's for our audience to know more about who you are and the work you do, your dream, your passions, and the experience that you have of traveling the world, meeting amazing people around the world. So the show is all yours. And you've been here for 3 years already. Right?
Yes.
Our culture here is very honored for our audience to know a little bit about who you are. So would you please share with us a little bit about, who you are and the work you do?
Okay. I'm Indonesian.
Okay.
I'm 42 years old now. Time flies.
Yeah.
My current job now is the executive assistant manager for this beautiful company and nice brand, Zanie by San Ho. I found this job 2 years ago through LinkedIn. Accidentally.
Accidentally?
Yes. I never heard about this brand before. So, I just sent out my CV and, they responded to me and we started a conversation. Interview took place with the human resources department. At that time, actually, I was in Antigua. In the West Indies of Caribbean.
Oh.
So I had a role of regional director of food and beverage for a Canadian company called Blue Diamond Group. Blue Diamond Group is the parents company of Sunwings Canadian group. So Sunwings Blue Diamond is the parents company of the hotel brand that I work, which is Royalton, Planet Hollywood. Those are the brand of the hotel. So I was fortunate to manage as a regional director of food and beverage for 3 countries.
3 countries.
Antigua, St. Lucia, and Grenada.
Wow.
In total of 5 resorts.
Wow.
Each resort have average 7 dining venue, including the bar. So at that time, I managed around 35 to 40 restaurants at the same time.
Alone?
No, I have a group of executive chef group, and then bar, regional bar manager, and of course I work closely with the GMs of every hotel, and then the local management of the food and beverage in every hotel.
Wow.
So it was a big role.
Yes.
And then, prior to that, I was in Vinpearl, in Nha Trang.
In Nha Trang.
And, I love the experience of Vietnam so much. So while I'm doing this big role, we call it white collar job, I miss the life of Vietnam. So then I'm starting to looking for a job. Then I found this through LinkedIn.
This is like 3 years.
This is 2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
Vinpearl is 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah, and then
so
in
Vinpearl, and then I go back to the Caribbean, and from Caribbean I came back here. Yes. That's a little bit of the story how I end up here.
Wow. Yes. Well, we're gonna get back to that. Back to that. But I'm gonna travel time with you way further than this, okay? Because and thank you for the introduction.
Sure.
How does time travel sound to you? When was the last time that you had time travel exercise?
Wow. I think a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yes, yes, yes.
We're gonna make it today.
Okay.
Okay. I was.
Long time ago because I don't normally converse about the past too much, you know. But yeah, yeah. But I'm open for it.
Yeah, I think not comfortable is one, but busy also another
Yes,
one.
and then I think nowadays not much people interest about you anyway. If you ask about it, right?
What do you mean by that?
It's not much people who wants to dig in about you, no? Unless if you're doing an interview and you find a job, then they will ask you your past experience, right? That's it,
Yeah.
right?
One thing I can tell you this. For the past 5 years, we interview 1,340. You are 145th person joining our program, and 1,344 of them really enjoy traveling to the past, and we look at the journey, like you say. They didn't have time to really traveling back, or sometimes they just spend few hours to just look at it. But seriously, we look at their dreams at young age and the journey leading to
It's been a
today.
while, yeah.
Not a lot of people is doing that.
True.
So I'll lead the way and I'll ask you.
Please.
So I was born in Da Nang City, and in the middle of the country, and 40 something years ago. It's a very small city, poor city, devastated by the war, and we didn't have electricity. One night we had, then we can see things. The next we didn't have. So my first dream that I wanted to do when I'm growing up is to become an astronaut. Really, really badly. Yeah, I think wild and crazy idea. Yeah.
Wow.
And the past 5 years, we interviewed many astronauts around the world. One of them actually went to the moon. He went to the moon on Apollo mission 16, and he and his wife and my wife and I been working together, in a different project to build a church in the rural area of my hometown. Who knows that we got this opportunity to work with him?
My
right?
goodness.
So,
Wow.
so for you, when you were little, what was your dream about the future and the work that you are going to do, though?
It's funny you mentioned that because I have few dreams when I was a child.
Okay.
Few dreams.
Few.
Few.
Yes.
In my early age, when I'm talking about what? Elementary school, maybe? I always wanted to be a priest
Priest.
in the Catholic Church. I was devoted Catholic boy. I was an altar boy. I served the church. My parents was a devoted Catholic family. So my life was pretty much involved in the Catholic Church. So I had the calling of wanted to be a priest because every week I go to the church, I become the altar boy, I'm serving the mass. I was close with the priests every day, so I always admire them. These people, they are not married, they dedicate their life to serve the God. I was like, wow, it's pretty cool. I wanted to be like that.
Wow.
That's my early age dream. And then, of course, through the guidance of them, the priest, because I was close with them, they said, okay, why don't you, go to the missionary school? When you finish your elementary, you can take the missionary school, and then that's how you start.
Wow.
But my parents against it. They don't like the idea because, of course, when you become a priest, you are, number one, you're not going to be married, and you will not able to give them the grandchildren. Number two, as a priest, you will not have no income.
Yeah.
Because this is how do you call this? A servant of church, And then as a older son in the family, of course, the family will expect you to be the breadwinner of the family.
What do you mean by the
breadwinner? Means you will be the person that going to help the family, to lift up the family life.
Yes.
Because you're the first son, everybody rely on you.
Yeah.
You are the backbone
Pressure
of the family.
Yeah.
So they are not really supportive for me to that dream. And then, my father was only a regular accountant. It's a 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday. We are living very regular life. I would say medium income to low at that time, because he has to raise 4 children, including my late sisters. So yeah, we are living in the very regular life. We are not poor, like, we are struggle with the food. No, we are okay, but we are also not lavish or rich. Nothing like that. We still renting a house. There's no car. We don't have a car. He has a motorbike. So very regular family, right? So then I continue my study. I went to high school, and then I decided to move to Manado City because I was born in Surabaya. And then I moved to Manado to continue my senior high school. I live with my grandmother. My grandmother and I.
How far between your grandmother and your family?
How far is the city?
Yeah.
To take I had to take a ship because I couldn't fly. It's too expensive. So the ship will take us 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days from Surabaya city to Manado.
That's far.
It's very far. So the only way to travel there at that time is through ship, because if you fly that time, the price is cannot afford to fly. So finished the junior high school. I traveled to Manado to live with my grandmother. I feel more comfortable nearby her, and it's a new experience for me. After you spend so many years in Surabaya, you want to see something different. So then I studied 3 years high school in Manado, and then my dream changed.
Okay.
I wanted to become a policeman.
So priest to policeman.
Yes.
It's still far from what you do today.
Why? Because I see, wow, it's so nice. It looks so cool to be a policeman. And I don't have to pay the tuition fee if you join the academy. It's a government, they will pay for you, as long that you pass the, whatever it is, the test, all the tests, then, it's a free education, right? And then, of course, when you graduated, you get a job right away.
Yeah.
You become a policeman to serve the country. So that was my initial idea, because I want to reduce the responsibility of my parents. I said, you know what? Don't worry, because if I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, then you have to pay for my, university, and I know they're not able to do it. So then I applied for the police academy. How do you call this? When they are hiring, then I apply. I fail.
You failed.
I failed.
Okay, how possible?
Maybe I wasn't strong enough. I fail in many physical tests. The IQ test I pass, the written test I pass, but the physical test,
I failed too.
Yes, my teeth, they are not perfect. There's so many holes, and they're looking at that.
Wow.
Yes. They ask you to swim 3 kilometers back and forth, and that time, I'm not that strong enough. Yes,
3 kilometers swimming back and forth.
Back and forth in the big swimming pool. We have a big swimming pool for all the cadet to pass the exam.
Wow.
So, although I prepare myself prior to that, the year before that, I already prepare myself physically. I run every day. I do a pull up. I do push up. I do, because I was very interested to be a policeman, but of course it's failed, and then I don't want to try again. I said maybe this is not me. I said let me go back to Surabaya.
Back home.
Back home with my parents.
Yeah.
Because I believe also in Manado there's not much opportunity. It's a small town. Not much opportunity for me. So then I went back to Surabaya with the ship again.
5 days.
Another 5 days. Without no purpose. No purpose. I just, okay, let's see how it goes. Go back home. And then friend of mine, sadly he passed away actually. He passed away. He's the same age like me. We are together in the Catholic Church, together serving the church. So of course we are close. And then after 3 years, again we meet because he knew I was in Surabaya. And then he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing. I just graduated from high school. Now I don't know what to do." So he said, "Why don't I take you to my university? They do have a hotel management school. I don't think it's expensive," he said. "And then you study there. They normally do internship during the study. Then, they can start paying you while you're doing that, the internship." I said, "Really?" I said, "Hotel school." I said, "What I'm learning." I said, "Come, let me introduce you to them and see how it goes." So he took me to the university, and then I was looking at the brochure, what are they, offering to us. And, it came to me to see, you need to learn in the kitchen, how to cut the chicken. You need to learn a little bit about front office, how to be a reception. You need to little bit, learn about housekeeping. I said, interesting.
Interesting.
I didn't see this coming. So I said, okay, let's give it a try. And the registration fee was not too expensive. So I asked my parents, can you pay a little bit of amount for me just to enroll the class? And they said, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
So, and then I started my first day in the hotel school.
What year?
2002.
2002. Wow.
2002.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, yes. So, sorry, 2001 then. 2001.
Okay.
And then, yes, it was something new, it's funny, because in the hotel school, you have to learn a little bit of everything. There's a kitchen lab, there's a bar lab, there's a housekeeping lab, which is, how to make up the room, reception, So it was interesting for me. And then while I'm doing that, they already starting sending us to the hotel.
Oh, like
in a real hotel to do an intern, and they will give you allowance, not salary, but day allowance. Plus you get the meal during your shift.
Yeah.
So I said, not bad. At that time, I don't know if I remember correctly. I think one shift in Indonesia rupiah in 2002, around that time, one shift, which is 8 hours of shift, you get 15,000 Indonesian rupiah.
How many dollars?
Which is now $1.
For 8 hours, $1.
8 hours. At that time, yeah?
Yeah.
But I think that time the dollar was only 7,000. I don't remember. So it's like $2 at that time.
$2.50
at that time.
Yeah.
So, as a young boy, it's a good allowance.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I can,
experience and allowance and meals and everything.
My father bought me a old motorbike. Second hand. Somebody sold it for a cheap price, maybe 2 million rupiah at that time. And he said, "This is your motorbike. You're studying, and now you're doing your internship. That's all I can give you."
Wow.
I said, "Okay, thanks, Dad. I'm using that." And I use that bike everywhere. Study and then go to the hotel. So that time, we work in the 5-star hotel, but only for Saturday and Sunday. So it's like, we see the real operation, how the real hotel operate. And then, on Monday, when you come back to the school, we submit a report, what is our assessment. So they rotate us in different 5-star hotel in Surabaya.
So you did internship in different hotels?
Different hotel in the beginning.
Yes.
And then, when the year almost end, they want us to focus in one hotel. So then we apply. At that time, we have Mandarin Oriental, Sheraton, and Hyatt Regency. These are the 3 5-star hotels. 4, Shangri-La too, Shangri-La brand. 4, so there are 4. And then I apply all of them. The 3, they don't accept me, and Mandarin Oriental accepted me. This is when I started my first trainee program.
Like official?
Official. Only 3 months. So then I was there. They treat me like a staff, means treat me like a staff means I have to work like a staff. They don't really care you're intern or not. As long as you wear uniform, you wear your name tag, you are staff.
Yes.
So expectation is you are staff. So then, I worked there, I did my best, it was crazy working in the hotel in the beginning. I cry every day. You cry means, wow, tired.
Yes.
You're standing 8 hours all day long. You carry heavy stuff. You have to, and I choose F&B, by the way. Sorry, I forget that part. I choose food and beverage department, food and beverage service, which is front line. That's in the beginning. And then, I was in the restaurant. Sorry, in the restaurant, my first job was only polishing. That's it.
Polishing is like
polishing silverware, china.
Yeah.
That's the first 2 weeks. I'm not allowed to go out. Only at the back and start polishing. Okay. And then the third week they allow me to go to the restaurant. Pouring water to the guests. Stuff like that. And then after that, they teach me how to start taking the order. Yada yada yada. So it's a progress learning, right, in the F&B. So yeah, it was interesting. I was fortunate to work in that brand, and a lot of my senior that taught me, about hotel industry.
Wow.
That's how it started. And then we went back to the school after 3 months. Do the final exam, and write the essay and all this kind of thing. And then I was graduated, right? And then I was cum laude.
What do you mean?
Cum laude.
Cum laude. What is it?
It's the best graduated guy. My score was the highest.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're always on to schooling then?
I was on to the school.
Yeah, cool.
And then because of that result, it's easier for me to get a job. Because I was superstar.
You work hard.
I work hard and I study hard.
Yeah.
I produce a nice report. So then Mandarin Oriental wanted me to be their employee. But at that time, I wanted to try something different. I choose one of the upscale independent restaurant in Surabaya, owned by a very rich family in Surabaya. He opening a independent restaurant called D Club. It's a wine lounge and a restaurant, brand new. So I was part of the pre-opening of that restaurant.
Completely new.
From the scratch, from the ground to an upscale, beautiful restaurant. So I said, let me try to work in the restaurant before I work in the hotel, because I already knew anyway. I was there for 3 months. So this was something new for me.
And that's also in the F&B anyway.
Exactly. So this is matching with my vibes. Yes. And then I worked there, pre-opening team, for 1 year. And I was already promoted to a captain, from a waiter to a captain, because I have a wine knowledge. I learned about wine a lot. And then I was above. I can speak English more than anybody else at that time already. So I was ahead. So then I was...
You self-learn English?
Sorry?
Self-learn English.
Self-learn English. I never take a course. Nothing.
Yeah.
Never.
Wow.
Self-learn. And so yeah, I was in the restaurant, and then Mandarin Oriental again called me. He said, we've been waiting for you. When are you coming and join us? Because my supervisor likes me a lot. So I said, okay, this is the time. It's already 1 year now in the restaurant. Now I want to move to the bigger scale, which is a hotel operation. So then I apply, and then the interview took place with the GM and everybody. And then, they make me a permanent staff in Mandarin Oriental.
Wow. That was like 2004, 06?
4, yes. 4. And then
22 years already. Well,
ago,
very
yes.
veteran in the
Yes,
industry.
yes.
Yeah.
As a waiter, right? I work as a waiter in the all-day dining restaurant called Indigo Restaurant. Is my assignment. It serves breakfast, lunch, dinner. Also, I do a night shift, the graveyard shift. So I was there for 2 years. My salary was only 500,000 Indonesian rupiah.
500,000 equivalent to US is how much?
That time,
Yeah, that time.
maybe like 40 US,
For
40,
40 USD
40,
per month.
yes.
Wow.
Nothing.
Yeah. So
Salary wise, nothing. But I was happy. I was single. I was still living with my parents, right? So I'm okay. Then I do a lot of cross training during that time. I cross training in the bar. I cross training in the kitchen. I cross training even in the stewarding area, how to wash the dishes. I learn chemicals, how to use chemical. I learn about alcohol in the bar, how to mix, how to make a cocktail. So I really was occupying myself every day.
yeah.
I almost the only time I go home, I went home is to sleep and to shower and disappear again. Sometimes my mom was like, "You're not coming home anymore?" I said, "Well, I'm at work." So I work in the morning, 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. I finish my shift at 3. I continue in the bar.
Wow.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
And then you learn, And I go home at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, go home and sleep, and again tomorrow, the same thing. That was my routine.
Yeah.
I was super motivated. Passionate, and I just want to learn. And, because that time, my dream has changed.
Okay.
Yes. Because I wanted to see America.
Tell me more.
I wanted to see the Liberty Statue. Because I was exposed with the international people. In the 5-star hotel, right? We met a lot of guests, American, European. So I was like, wow, it would be so nice to go to the US, But I realized that my capacity will not able to take me there. I'm only making 500,000. Huh? How can I reach the United States with that money? Even I'm saving for 10 years, I will not able to make it. So I push myself to bring America close to me instead of I'm going there.
Strategy.
Yes. So how to do it is I choose my circle. I make myself close to the people that is always better than me.
Wow.
So I was working with them. I was close to all my managers. I want to know, how can you become a manager? How can you become a supervisor? I stay close with my GM. I have a expat GM. They're German, they're Austrian, that work all over the country. So I was always close to them because I really wanted to be just like them. So I'm always watching and very, very paying attention on how they do, why they become a GM, why they become a food and beverage manager, because at that time I was only a waiter. So I always admire all my bosses, how can you be so smart? How can you be so good? What does it take to make you one,
Wow.
So that was my goal in life, I was never ever, give up, even though my salary was low, but my dream was big.
Wow.
Yes. So then I continue searching how to get there. And then I realized there's an opening of in-fila dining waiter in Bermuda.
Wow.
So with the limitation of the technology at that time, we only have email. We have an Internet Explorer to explore a little bit. I was able to get the okay from the human resources side to apply through brand to brand. So my human resources manager, very supportive. He said, "You know what, Martin? I see you have a good dream. We want to help you. Apply that. Send your CV and see how it goes."
Wow.
So then, we sent a CV, and then they responded. They want to conduct an interview to me. They're interested with me, and the human resources helped me, through giving a good recommendation. Who am I? Yada, yada, yada. And then I got a job in Bermuda, However, everything need to be paid by myself. They don't support the flight ticket. They only support the work permit, the work visa, and then that's it. The rest you need to figure out how to do it. I said, no problem. I talked to my daddy. I said, can you help me to borrow some money? He said, yes. How much is the ticket? At that time, it cost me $1,200 US.
Yeah.
In 2006. It's a lot of money, yeah?
$40 per.
Yes. So I give him so much respect. He went all the way to find that money for me.
Wow.
And then I sold my beloved motorbike also. That was my pocket money. My pocket money. So I sold it, and I get around 1.5 million, almost 2 million rupiah, and I convert that rupiah to the US dollar. I have almost less than $200, $150 in my pocket.
Then to the US, to the Bermuda.
So I started with $150 in my pocket. That's it. I have to Bermuda from Indonesia. 21 years old guy, alone. I don't know anything about Bermuda. I don't speak much English. Leave the country with only one dream. I want to see
the
Liberty Statue.
So where did you land before you moved to Bermuda?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, is it the stopping point?
Yes, so I'm going there.
Okay.
It's an interesting story because there's a story in between.
Okay. I'm all here, so.
Yes, so I remember it was in November. This is it's my first time getting the passport, and I need a US visa to get there because the Bermuda work permit is done.
Yeah.
But to be able to land in Bermuda, you need to pass through the US.
Yeah.
Because, or the UK. Either you travel through London to Bermuda, or through New York, Miami to Bermuda.
So New York, Miami.
So I choose US Embassy with the work permit that is given by the company and the Bermuda government. So this permit is very strong. So I bring this to the embassy, US Embassy, apply for the transit visa. I got it for 3 months. C1.
Yeah.
That was my first visa ever. I said, yes. So I resigned, from that company, and then I planned the travel. So it was in November 2006.
Years ago already.
I know. Oh my God. As I mentioned earlier, before the interview, that time we don't have smartphone. The internet was very limited, so I wasn't confident enough. So I brought my manual dictionary,
the book.
As
thick as this.
Yes, is Indonesian English Indonesian. Just in case, right? Just in case if I couldn't find a word, I will open the dictionary and start on first. So then the traveling from Jakarta to Tokyo, Tokyo to Texas, to Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth, Dallas-Fort Worth to New York, New York to Bermuda at that time.
Yeah.
Complicated itinerary.
Jakarta,
Tokyo,
Dallas, New York,
Bermuda.
Like you had like four stops in between.
4 stops in between.
Wow.
So I started actually 5 because I'm from Surabaya.
Surabaya to
Jakarta first. So Surabaya, I started in the afternoon. I think the flight was in the afternoon. I still remember around 3 o'clock. I was so excited. I have one small luggage with me, whatever I need is there. One pair of shoes, one pair of everything. Good to go. And, my backpack with the dictionary inside. Little snacks. $150 in my pocket, ready to go. So I flew from Surabaya around 3 p.m., arrived in Jakarta at 4. The flight to Tokyo is at 10. So I was waiting in the airport for a long time. First time I was traveling on the plane. Didn't know much. Just, just continue asking people where to do, where to go and yada, yada, yada. And then my first flight was at 10 p.m. from Jakarta to Tokyo with the Japan Airlines.
So you waited half a day, in the morning into 10 p.m.
No, 3 p.m. from Surabaya, arrived in Jakarta around 5.
Yeah.
And then I waited around 5-6 hours in the airport. And 10 p.m. I flew from Jakarta to Tokyo. My first ever international flight. That time. So I was very nervous. I don't know what to do. And I was so lucky because the seat that was assigned to me was empty. I was the only passenger. I think it was Boeing 787. It's 343, format. So I was in the 3 and there's nobody was there. So, the stewardess was so kind, she let me lay down and sleep during the flight. I think 7 hours flight or 8 hours from Jakarta to Tokyo. And then I landed in Tokyo. At that time, we don't need visa for transit as an Indonesian. So, it was smooth. I arrived in Tokyo in the morning, around 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe, Japan time. And then my next flight to the US is in the afternoon, around 1 or 2, something like that. So I was all day in the airport, in Narita.
Navigating,
all Japanese character, right? Trying to find my lunch, but I have $150, so I'm scared to spend too much.
Of course.
So I only bought a little bit of snacks just to fill up my stomach. Was sitting in the gate all the time, was smooth. And then I flew from Tokyo with American Airlines to Dallas, Fort Worth. That's another 8 hours or 9 hours flight. I don't remember to be exact. It was with American Airlines that time. Flight was full. I was with everybody else, interesting story. When I landed in Texas, in Dallas Fort Worth Airport, it's very little time to catch my next flight to New York. I think it's only 3 hours layover.
Wow.
So I arrived in Texas in the morning as well, around 7, if I'm not mistaken. And my next flight is at 9 or 10. But it's a very limited time. And of course, I don't know anything about how to navigate myself, through the big airport like that. You have to move terminal, blah, blah, blah. So when I arrived at the immigration, guess what? They couldn't find my visa.
How cool.
I don't know. It's not in the system.
Oh, so it's not in the
United States system, but I have the visa. The visa is written on my passport.
What happened next?
They're trying to swipe, couldn't find. He had to call his manager, his boss, the immigration officer, and they have to put me on the site. They have to take me to the deportation room.
Checking,
deportation room.
No way, sorry, man.
Yes. So I lost my flight.
So you I
missed 2 flights.
Wow.
I missed the flight from Texas to New York. I missed the flight from New York to Bermuda.
Wow.
With $150 in my pocket.
Wow.
So they took me to the deportation room. They said, sorry, but you cannot enter because your document is invalid. I said, how? I get it from the embassy. This is your embassy. Everybody signed. This is the visa, C1. And I don't even remember how did they solve the problem, but there's involving a lot of people. I think the head of the immigration on that airport was trying to help out, and they decided to re-register me
from there.
Oh, so then I had an interview again in that room. Question and where are you going, which company, show me your permit again. And I think they make a phone call to that company, so I said, I need your help. I said, please allow me to call my employer. I said, my employer has the email address and also the phone number. I don't have much money. I said, but if I can borrow your phone, I will call them. So then they allow me to use the phone. I call my HR.
Wow.
I said, listen, I'm stranded. My document is invalid, blah, blah, blah. So I will miss my flight. So, oh my God, Martin, how come? So let me talk to them. So my human resources director, helped to talk to the immigration and, blah, blah, blah. I think they sent a letter as well. It's complicated. So I was stranded there for 3 hours in the office just to get my visa sorted out.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course,
3 hours, but you look like a day.
It looks like 2 months.
2 months.
It's like, can I just go back home? I gave up. I gave up, yeah, so then, of course, after the clearance is there, they let me go. I lost everything. I lost my flight. I don't know where my luggage is, because my luggage is already a part of this journey, right?
Go somewhere
else. I don't know. I could care less, right? All I need to know what's next. Hungry, tired, no shower for almost 2 days already.
Wow.
And then, of course, the immigration officer don't really care about you. They let you deal with the airline because it's not their problem. And then I go to the American Airlines counter, and a very lovely lady.
Wow.
She's I always believe, if I'm telling you this story, it's emotional for me because along the way of my journey, God helps me a lot.
Yes, I
believe in
yeah.
it. She was a American African lady, big lady. So I said, ma'am, I need your help. I lost my flight because of this. And she goes like, don't worry, my dear. I will help you out. She said, I will find flight from here to New York, the fastest that you can take. So I said, I don't have money. She said, don't worry. It's a free of charge.
Oh my God.
Because, you had a situation with the immigration, so we will help you. I was like, wow, there's no way like that. There's nobody going to be like that. You have to pay. It is your penalty, whatever it is. Right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So she said, just give me 1 minute. She said, you will sit there and I come back to you. So I was sitting, waiting for her. Then she came back. She said, I have a good news. She said, there's a flight go to New York at 6 p.m. And that time at around 1.
So like another 5 hours waiting.
So I said, she said, that's the last flight from here to New York. You want to take it? I said, of course. I don't have any choice. And then I asked her, I said, what about the one going to Bermuda? Because, it's already planned like that. So I lost everything. She said, don't worry. I'm going to give you 2 boarding pass.
Oh.
So she organized me the flight from New York also to Bermuda. But I have to stay 1 night in New York because it's only 1 flight.
Yeah.
Complicated. So anyway, I was happy. I was able to get into the plane, flew from Dallas forward to New York. And I was so happy, excited to arrive in New York.
That's like midnight.
Yes, midnight.
Yeah, midnight. Yeah.
Correct. 11, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't eat all day long.
Ah.
I only drink water because that's all I can afford.
Oh,
I don't want to spend my money because I'm so scared. That's the only money I have left, right? So I was eating. Luckily, I think the plane gave me some food, if I'm not mistaken. Basic
long flight.
food.
Yeah, basic one. Yeah.
And then I arrived in New York. The first thing I was looking is my luggage. I went to the American counter service luggage center. I asked them, this is my situation, this is my boarding pass. Can you please help me to locate where's my luggage is, right? And he said, okay, let me help you. He said, he took me to underground, which is my first experience also, in the John F. Kennedy Airport. In the ferry underground, there's a big, huge warehouse.
Yeah.
Where
So
all the luggage.
house. Yeah. Yeah.
So he said, flight from Texas normally in this section. Good luck, he said. Go and find your luggage. So there was 1,000 of luggage. I couldn't find mine.
Couldn't find.
Couldn't find.
Okay.
It's not there.
Uh-huh.
So I go through one by one. I said, no, my luggage is not there. So he said, okay, I'm sorry, but that's all we have. If you're looking for the luggage from this flight, that's all. This is for today. I said, it's not there. Okay, fine, never mind. I said, I forgot about it. I said, that's okay. I lost it. And then, man, I was so tired, hungry. You know, I look for a small coffee shop. I'm looking at the price. How much does it cost me for a sandwich, for, you know, a bottle of water? And I spent my first $15 to buy a sandwich and water.
And then you had 135 left.
Yes. Yeah, correct. So then I ate there and, you know, and I went to the gate. I looked for the gate. I checked in, and I slept on the chair because the flight is in the morning at 8 or 9, something like that.
So you did not leave the airport?
How?
But you got the visa to go out, but you didn't have time to go out or what?
No, I don't have any money to go out.
Oh, so not seeing the liberty?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. So then it was autumn. Huh? It was November was cold. So yeah, I was just in the airport, and I slept on the chair overnight for my next flight the next day, and then I was able to fly from New York to Bermuda.
Finally.
After what, 3 days already? Yes. And I arrived in Bermuda for the first time. It was daytime, around 1 o'clock maybe. My food and beverage manager picked me up, fetched me at the airport with the human resources director. They were so happy that finally I made it.
Is the human resource director was the one who dealt with the US?
Yes, he wants to make sure that, you know, I arrive, you know.
How nice of her. Yeah.
Yes, and then I go through immigration, you know, everything was smooth in Bermuda. When I go to the conveyor, I was passing, I saw my luggage right there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, because the fly next and then this next.
So I was like, that's my luggage.
You travel half the world.
Exactly. Yeah, I was so happy, you know. Then I found my luggage, and then they picked me up with a company car, and they brought me to the hotel. You know, they gave me a nice hotel room, like a guest room, for the first 1 month. 1 month I was staying in the hotel, like a guest, right? I was so thankful for that. So yeah, that's how I get into Bermuda.
And then that was like 2006.
Yes.
For that 20 years, how many other countries have you been traveling to? You know, Asia, right? And then like South, you know, like Bermuda is like Central America, so
it's North Atlantic.
North Atlantic.
Yeah, so I was in Bermuda, then I started my, you know, I worked there. Different story, how I do it there. I almost did the same like how I did in Surabaya. I never take off. I work around the clock. The only time I go home is to sleep. You know, because in Bermuda you get paid weekly. Every week you get a paycheck. So every Wednesday you receive your paycheck, and they pay you by hour. At that time my rate was only $5 per hour. And you work 9 days. Sorry, 9 hours per day.
Okay.
And
1 day you work is equal to 1 month you work.
Plus, I was working in fila dining, room service. So I get a lot of tips.
Wow.
You know, the American style. People tip you.
Yeah.
You know, and of course it's a luxury brand, so you get a lot of rich people going there. So I was overwhelmed with the money that I have. I have never seen such money in my life. You know, sometimes
compensating for the time waiting in the airport.
Right? Every day I go back home to my room. My pocket are full. You know, $5 bill, $10 bill, $20 bill, $50 bill. I can make easily per day $200.
Wow.
Cash, just a tip, easily. So I was like, this is interesting. I said, I don't want to go home. I want to work every day. I don't want to take a day off. I said, I was young, full of energy, I said, why not, right?
Yeah.
So then I start working in the kitchen again. I work in the bar again. I work in the function. I work for the banquet event on the beach. Make money every day. I never take a day off, not even a day.
Yeah.
For 2 years.
Straight 2 years.
Straight. Every day. I was a little bit greedy, and then, but in between that, there's a story because they only give you 1 month in the hotel room. And then as a junior, your accommodation is outside the resort, which is 3 kilometers away. So they don't give you anything, no transportation, nothing. So you need to figure out yourself. You want to have a motorbike, because in Bermuda you have a scooter, you can drive a scooter, or you want to buy a car. Of course, it's not an option. So I choose to walk.
Walk
every day.
Every day.
From the housing to the hotel.
Then
3 kilometers.
Yeah.
So if my shift start at 6, I start working from 5.
Yeah.
And Bermuda is a subtropical country. It has winter.
Yeah.
So that time, in December, January, February, the first 3 months was winter. Cold.
Cold.
In the morning can drop to 5 degrees.
Wow.
But there's no snow, but it's cold. So you need to gear up yourself. Yes. Rain, windy, rain, cold. So that was my struggle. Walk every day.
Wow.
That's why I don't want to.
It's a buffet of weather.
Yes. So I decide to, how do you call this? To bring extra clothes always. So I stay, I work until night, and I go home again. Once in a while.
Safety? It's a safe work.
Very safe.
Very safe.
Very safe. It's a very safe country.
Cool.
But it's dark, huh?
Yeah.
So you need to bring your light or whatever it is. So yeah, I was doing that for 2 years straight, and then I tell you a funny story. They asked me to open a bank account because they need to transfer your basic salary to the bank account. And that time, the first month I was working. I don't have a day off. I don't take a day off. So then, I think the 7 weeks or 8 weeks, I accumulated my 7 times paycheck.
Because it paid weekly.
Pay weekly. Yeah. So it's a 7
big amount.
Big amount. And then when I go to the bank, the teller was like, "How do you get this money from?" I said, "Well, I'm working here. This is my payslip. Look. So let me call your company." Yes, because it's a lot of money. I think it's around what?
Plus the cash you deposit also.
I have like maybe like $8,000 already at that time, in that period. It's a lot of money. So that was funny. So they called the human resources. Is this guy working for you? And she explained, yes, because he has no day off. So, that his time is, he only allowed to go to the bank. Yeah, this is legit. This is money. So yeah, then I get the money. Then I pay my dad back.
Yeah.
For the ticket, the $1,200. And then I give them extra. I said, I give you extra $1,000. Do whatever you want. Go for vacation. Go for anything. Yes, that was my.
Man.
Yes. I was so happy and so proud of myself. And then I wanted to buy a house.
There or in
Indonesia. Because my dad was renting a house. So I said, I will buy a house and I want you to move there.
Wow.
And then I asked them to start looking, tell me the price. And they found one in 2007 then, or something like that, 2007. Yes, 2007. And they found a nice place in Surabaya. It's not too far from where we are. So it was my first achievement to bought my first house cash.
Wow. For the family.
For the family. It was my milestone.
Proud.
Yes, it was my pride.
Yeah.
For some people, maybe buy a house is normal. But for me, it's a big achievement.
Of course.
Nobody could ever dream. So,
Yeah.
it was my my story about Bermuda. So that house, unfortunately, I sold it a few years ago, but that was my first milestone in life. You know.
Let's pause there
Yeah.
a little bit. Let's talk about your late father. He went the extra mile to borrow $1,200, maybe plus for preparation for you to go to the US. And it's never easy to borrow money, right? And not knowing whether or not that money is gonna give you any return. But look at your way growing up is always there. Your parents are always there to support you with schools, and it's your first motorbike. You know, old motorbike was also from him, right? So tell us a little bit about, you know, if there's a piece of wisdom that he shared with you at young age, and until today you still live by that piece of advice. So what is that you can share with us so we can honor the wonderful man he is?
My father came from a very poor family as well. His father was only a farm, which is, you know, farmer, which is my grandfather. He worked as an accountant in one of the plastic factory in Surabaya. He dedicated himself 30 years working in that company as an accountant. 30 years.
Yeah.
He was a man that he's a homebody. His life, work, home, sleep, work, home, sleep. That's it. He's the type of man that very honest. He told us, he said, if I want to get rich, I can do easily. I'm an accountant. I have many opportunity to, you know, to do something that I want to do. You know, but I don't live with it. He said, my core principle is I want to feed you guys with my pure hard work.
Yeah.
I'm a man of integrity. And he always said to me, Martin, anywhere you go, you need to be honest.
Honest.
And do the right thing even when no one is watching. That's his philosophy. And I live with it until today. Always do the right thing even no one is watching. It means a lot. It means you are a real person. This is how you work with or without your boss. You do the same thing.
Yeah.
This is the secret of success.
It is.
Because some people are very good in, you know,
When the boss around.
in the bus around and, you know, it looks good all the time. Well, everybody's different, but this is the philosophy that my parents taught me.
Yeah.
Always do the right thing, even when no one is watching.
You know, that's why, you know, wisdom is timeless, right? You know, from his parents as a farmer, maybe your grandmother already taught him the philosophy of life, the way of living, and that integrity, that honest, that, you know, hardworking, that taking care for what's right has passed to him, then passed to you, and then you now travel the world teaching other people to do that, to live that. Of course, people will have their own way of living, but if they open to learn from wisdom in life, right, and having the patience to really have everything soak it in and starting to, you know, to blossom later on in life. And thanks for sharing your father's story.
Pleasure.
It's really touching. And we're gonna get back into to some of the story you share later on in this conversation. But let's continue.
Okay.
I think so. After Bermuda, then certain other countries.
Yes, and then Bermuda. Then that was my first milestone. I bought a house. I don't want to talk about my private life, but marriage and all, because it's a claustrophobic. It's not a good example. So let's put that on the side.
Put that aside, yeah.
We can talk about it off the screen.
Sure. Maybe later on.
Exactly. Yes, but my marriage has failed. You know, there's a price that you have to pay sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
Put it aside. Continue.
Yes, and then I start traveling, you know. That's when I started to take a holiday. Then I went to New York.
You did?
Yes.
For how many days?
My first trip to New York from Bermuda was 4 days, I think.
Wow.
Yes, it was in 2008.
Wow.
Because my visa was only C1. So then I apply a US visa from the Bermuda, from a US consulate in Bermuda. And of course, I live there, I work there, I have my permit. They give me 1 year, B1 and B2. You know, at that time. So then I said, okay, let me plan to travel to New York, you know. And I went to New York my first time. I flew from Bermuda to New York City in 2008. The first destination is Liberty Island.
Yes, my friend.
That was the purpose, right? That was my dream came true.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
And I believe it was in November also. Yes, around November. So it was cold, autumn. So yeah, I was so excited. I bought my first long coat, you know. I bought my winter attire. You know, I visited the island, the Liberty Island. Took the boat from New York to there, and you know, I spent a few hours there, took pictures, yada yada yada, and spent a few days in New York City.
Wow.
You know, things like that. So yeah, that was my first traveling. And then
first break also.
First break.
Wow, first break. Yeah.
So and then I go back to work, You know, that time I still haven't traveled much. And then I decided to went home to go to Indonesia to see the house that I purchased because they moved already.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, my parents have moved to that house. You know, I went there and you know we do you know a lot of things. I took a vacation for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe in 2008 also. And then I came back to Bermuda. And then in 2009, late 2009, unfortunately, the hotel is closed.
Oh.
The brand has decided not to continue the partnership. So Mandarin Oriental left the building, the group.
Yeah, I think there's a financial crisis during that time
2009.
also. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then all of us was redundant. But you know, as you know, how they are. They're very responsible. They open a job fair for us to find a job to continue our employment within the country. So
within the country, like within the Bermuda.
Within Bermuda.
Okay, okay.
So they invite all these hotelier, you know, whoever needs staff, you know, we are there. So then I apply for a job, and I got a job in the small boutique hotel in Bermuda called Cambridge Beach. Smaller than Mandarin Oriental. It was only 60 villa, I believe. I got a job there as in-villa dining again, but as a captain. I was promoted already.
Captain means the highest one.
The highest, yes, okay. yes. So yes, I worked there, but because of my permit situation, all of us need to go home and then reapply again from the scratch.
Because you move from one employer to the next employer, so you have to reapply.
The government doesn't allow you to continue. They need to have a break in between, so it's a fresh contract. So I left Bermuda. I went back to Indonesia while waiting, and then yes, and I returned to that brand, Cambridge Beach Resort in Bermuda in 2010. Yes, middle of 2010, and at that time my father was already very sick. Yes, his condition was already deteriorating. He's getting weak and weaker. He had a diabetes, and it's already affecting his kidney. So you know his kidney is already damaged. So he was already very ill. So you know it was the last time I met him in 2010. He passed away in 2011.
So you fly and then you
So-
flew out, but you're not seeing him.
Yeah, so then 2010 I left Surabaya again, and I went to Bermuda again. You know, second experience or whatever it is you call it. And then I think I knew that that's going to be the last time I'm gonna see him.
You
know,
have the sense.
I have the
for that.
sense. And then I worked there. But then, you know, during the time of the experience, you know, I met great people. You know, I used to be the private butler of David Beckham.
Oh.
Yes, he was the guest in Elbow Beach,
Ah.
and he stayed 10 days, 14 days. You know, I was assigned as a butler for them and with
You
his
took
wife.
photo?
Yes, it was in my old laptop. All of them is you know, in that luxury resort is we serve a lot of high profile.
Yeah.
Kid Martin, Bruce Willis, all these people, you know. So, you know, I was excited to see them and, you know, experience myself, you know. But they're just regular people. Huh? They are, as much as we see them as a top tier people, they're
very
just
normal.
very regular.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you don't even know who they are sometimes, you know. They
Yeah.
dress very casually and, you know.
Yes.
But it's great to see them, you know. It's an experience, right?
Yeah.
And then when I was in Cambridge also, I was fortunate to meet such a top people. The Queen of Elizabeth. She visited Bermuda because Bermuda is the under Commonwealth of British United Kingdom. So she came, and then, you know, we host a dinner for her in my hotel. So I was part of the team. So, you know, that kind of experience during those time.
Wow.
I didn't stay long in that country, in that branch, sorry. And then my father passed away in May 2011. And I was so devastated. And, you know, I couldn't go home because of work. So we decided to just bury him without me. I regret until today. I should have come. I didn't. I think it was a wrong decision. You know, I wish I could rewind, but there's no way. So I didn't get a chance to see him for the last time until he was buried. And then
He's here with you, my friend.
he's here with me.
you all the
Yes,
time.
his
Yeah.
spirit is there
Yeah,
with you.
yes.
I believe in that. And then I starting to apply a job, and I got the opportunity to get a job in Cayman Island.
Why is it? You know, you took Cayman Island. You're like, to me, like, is it in Europe, in Africa, in, you know,
It's also in the Caribbean.
Caribbean?
Yes, Cayman Island is a small country still under British Commonwealth. Very wealthy island. Smaller than Bermuda, as a matter of fact. In 2011, I got a job as a pre-opening team of upscale fine dining restaurant in Cayman Island. It owns by a celebrity chef. In the 7 Mile Beach area is a very prime location in that country. The restaurant name is a Blue Cilantro. It's a fusion between Mediterranean, French, and Indian. It's a beautiful concept fine dining restaurant. Small, 50 capacity of restaurant, very small, and luxury.
Look very luxury.
Yes.
Yeah.
The owner worked closely with the celebrity chef Eric Rippe from French, and Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, the gentleman that passed away a
Yes.
few years ago. Wow.
So they created a concept, and then, you know, they opened a restaurant. So I was part of that establishment, opening the restaurant from zero scratch to standing restaurant. It's a very good experience. I lived in Cayman Island from 2011 until 2014. I was there. Beautiful country, warmer There's no winter there. So it's similar like here.
In the Caribbean,
Yes,
the
yes,
weather
yes.
is that different.
Because Bermuda is in North Atlantic. Cayman Island is in the Caribbean. It's a little bit different. It's two separate area. So yeah, I was there in the Cayman Island, and during that time, I was traveling to Jamaica, Cuba. I went to Cuba because it's very near from Cayman, and go to the U.S. many times. That's when I start traveling also in the U.S. Go to Jersey. We went to Texas. During those times. When I was in Cayman, and in Cayman, I'm starting already my career. From captain, I become a assistant restaurant manager, and then I become a assistant food and beverage manager. That's when my career start to climb. Even in the smaller scale, which is fine dining restaurant, it's not a hotel, it's not a resort, but I was already having a career. The owner, he trusted me so much. I used to run the place, alone.
Because of the honest, the integrity, the hard work, everything your father was saying.
So, I handle all the cash flow, and, nothing was taken, not even a single dollar. Everything goes to him, and, so the trust was there. And then, in 2014, I had to resign because my grandmother was ill. I was very close to her. You remember?
Yes.
I was
you
with
took
her
5 hours by boat to
Manado City. I was living with her during my high school time.
Yes.
So I don't want to have the same mistake again. I don't want something happen to her and then I'm not there. So I said, Chef, he's the owner. I said, I love you. I love the brand. I love you working with you, but I need to stay close with my grandmother.
Nice.
She's very ill. I think time for me to go home and spend time with my family. I was selfish enough. When my father died, I wasn't even there. So now I want to be there. So I'm applying for a job in Indonesia. First time again after many years.
So back to home.
Yes, back to my home country.
2006, 2014, 8 years.
Yes. And then I got
no longer Indonesian then. You left at 21, 8 years abroad.
I was old already when I
came back, then you're like, you're no longer
yes. JW Marriott in Surabaya. That was my first 5-star hotel in Indonesia. Second then, after Mandarin. The same city, I was already a specialty restaurant manager. I'm responsible for 3 restaurants. Chinese, Japanese, and French. So in the same floor, there was a 3 restaurant in that hotel, and I was responsible for the P&L of these 3. My boss was the director of food and beverage, and I didn't stay long, unfortunately. So I moved to Surabaya in 2014. I worked with them for a few months, and my grandmother passed away.
14.
Yes, in 2014. And then, of course, it was my purpose to be there during this time because I knew that's going to happen. And then, after she passed away, then I said, I have no more reason to be here. All the fear that I was
that holding you back,
holding me back was gone.
Yeah,
it's already happened. She passed away. God
now
bless her soul. So I said, now I'm ready again to move on. And then I got a job as a food and beverage manager in Bintan Island. Bintan Island is near Singapore.
Bintan Island.
Bintan Island.
Is that a country?
It's Indonesia. It's part of Indonesia, but it's
close to Singapore.
It's like 45 minutes away from Singapore. And then I worked there, first assignment as a food and beverage manager. So from specialty restaurant manager, I got a job as a food and beverage manager, which is one step ahead. I'm leading the whole department. Huge operation. It's 300 rooms with 7 F&B outlets.
Wow.
200,
within the hotel.
Yes, 200 staff, something. So it was my first experience as a food and beverage manager. I stayed there for 1 year. And then Caribbean is calling me again.
What happened to Caribbean with you?
You know, I said, "Wow, this is there's a group called Sandals. Sandals is a ultra luxury, all inclusive concept in the Caribbean. Is owned by Jamaican, and at that time we have the brand has 9 resort across Caribbean, and then the one that that I applied to was in Saint Lucia. Okay, so this is 2016.
The first time you came to Saint Lucia.
Yes.
Yes.
So from Bintan Island, I got a job. It's actually for my friend. The job was offered to my friend, and then maybe he's watching this. Maybe one day. Yes, his name is Guru. Guru. Yes, Guru. Guru. If you watch this, you know I never forget you. You know. So Guru offered me this job. He said, "Martin, you know what? I got an offer as a food and beverage manager in Saint Lucia." I said, "Saint Lucia? Where is that?" You know, imagine, I used to live in the Caribbean, but I never heard that country. And he said, he sent it to me, the information. He said, they give it to me, but I don't want it. I'm not ready to go abroad. I said, "Okay, give me a try." And, you know, I sent my CV, and then just like that, you know, one interview, and that's it. I got the job offer. Because, you know, they see my experience. I know Caribbean a little bit. I was the right candidate at that time. In 2016, in January, I flew from Indonesia to Saint Lucia after a few years, you know, in Indonesia, and I went to abroad again to the Caribbean as an F&B manager. I was the number 2 in the department. My boss was the director of food and beverage, and I started in January, February, and then one phone call in November. So the same
10
year,
years later,
the corporate of F&B director called me. He said, "Martin, we hear a lot of good things about you." I said, "Oh, thank you, sir. You know, I would like to promote you." I said, "Okay, what is it?" The
Exciting.
the new gig will be as a director of food and beverage.
Long waited.
I said, "Okay, where?" He said, "We recently launched the first ever over the water suite,
Like on top of the water.
like Maldives
The
style,
Maldives style. Yeah.
in Jamaica. This is their smallest resort in Jamaica. Is Sandals Royal Caribbean. Is the brand, is the name. He said, because I was at Sandals Grand, Saint Lucia. So they have a 9. Remember, I said they have a 9 brand, and one of the resort named Sandals Royal Caribbean. I want you to lead the pre-opening of this over the water suite. You will be the F&B director over there.
Wow.
In January 2017. So I got my promotion as my first assignment as a director of food and beverage, the only Asian director of food and beverage in the group.
Within the group.
Within the group.
No way, my friend. Wow.
Always employ, you know, Westerner, local Caribbean. I was the first, I think, and the only Asian. Wow. I couldn't be more prouder than that.
Wow. And that was 10 years ago.
2017, yes.
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Wow.
So I was so proud. Yes, you know, leading the you know, the group, leading the department as a director of food and beverage. You know, I was so close working together with the COO, with the CEO, even with the chairman, you know, of the group. You know, they know me. And, you know, I work with a great chef. I work with the great corporate people. The pre-opening was so successful. We implemented a lot of system in place, we brought some, different experience because I was a butler before. So, I knew how offer the water suite or butler service all about. So I was able to transform my knowledge to the local people, to Jamaica,
Because you've been working from the ground.
From the ground. So I set up the standard, training, SOP, all these kind of things. So I was able to make them proud, and it was their first experience in having a butler service in the group. So it was highlighted. It was a successful story, and I was there for 1 year. And again, in that group, in that brand, Sandals Group, I'm always known as the turnaround specialist.
So it means that you
It means
make money.
I make money, and then I
right?
change, and I re-standardize everything. They want me back to Saint Lucia because there was a resort in Saint Lucia called Sandals Latok. Is in Saint Lucia there are 3 Sandals. Sandals Grand was the first assignment of mine before I go to Jamaica, and there's a Sandals Harshan, smaller hotel, and Sandals Latok. So they want me to fix Sandals Latok because there was a lot of problem.
So your captain come and do the transformation.
So yes, so I was already a director of
do the hard work.
Yes. So the Jamaica resort was only 200 rooms, and Sandals Latok was 320 rooms at that time.
Like triple the size.
To the almost double. But more restaurants. I have 12 restaurants within one hotel.
Wow.
So it was a tough assignment. It's a 50 years old resort. And I have to handle the all F&B department, including the kitchen, the bar. I was working with the GM. It's a killer GM. Was a tough GM. So I learned a lot from that. I
like that attitude. Within the challenge, you learn a lot also, right? No doubt that's why you keep growing.
Yes, because I like it. I wake up early in the morning. I go to work. I don't go home until 11 o'clock. All I know was working hard. There's nothing else. And then since then I'm I starting to slow down. Everything settled down in 2018. I did the turnaround, right? I was able to stabilize the team, stabilize the profit and the result of the department, and I'm starting to love myself more. I have nice salary already, 2 digits or whatever, 6 figure, whatever you call it, and I'm starting to travel the world.
Travel the world.
Yes. So then, US I done already. Then I did Europe,
Cool.
holiday.
All continents.
Oh, yes. My GM, he was a killer GM. But at the same time also he valued me. So he said, you know what? How many days you need? I said, boss, I need 20 days. I want to do a Europe trip. Go for it. I signed your leave. Enjoy. So he was supportive when it comes to that. Because I was able to build a system, no?
Yeah.
So when I'm not there, business as usual, right?
Trust
so
right there already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I traveled to Europe, traveled the continent, and in 2000 until 2020, I was still within the group. And then this is another interesting story. I wanted to go back to Indonesia.
The reason?
I just wanted. I think I was too long in the Caribbean, and time for me to go back to Indonesia.
Wow.
For no reason.
Maybe years later you're gonna know the reason.
Yes, and then everybody think that you're stupid. They said, why? You have a nice job in the Caribbean. You're getting well paid. You're living a life. Why you want to go back to Indonesia? Because as a local in Indonesia, I'm sorry to say, but they will not pay you as much as you are abroad, huh? So I said, that's okay, that's fine. I just want to give a try to, to see, if I'm still matching with the culture of my own country. I got a job in banyan tree in Bali.
Banyan tree.
Banyan tree in Bali.
Yeah, yeah.
In the late 2019, end of the year 2019. Then I resigned from sandals. My boss hate me. Wow, why you resign? I said, boss, please allow me to explore a little bit more. And then I moved to Indonesia in 2020 in January, and COVID hits.
Yeah.
So I lost the job. I don't even start it.
Wow.
They canceled my contract.
That's one of the things, the bad things that happened during COVID-19, right? Things just, from black to white,
So
white to black, like
I
that.
left Caribbean. I left the company, went back to Indonesia, to Surabaya that time, with the hope that we'll start a job in March in Banyan Tree, in Bali. I never get a job.
Yeah.
So I was lost. For me to go back to the Caribbean is impossible because they're also closed. The hotel, the business all also closed at that time. You remember?
Yes, yes.
So I said to my boss, can I talk to you? My old boss from Sandals. I said, I lost my job here because it's closed. He said, I'm sorry, but we are also closed. I couldn't help you.
Yeah.
So I was jobless from March 2020 until November 2020. A friend of mine helped me. I was running a small restaurant in Surabaya. And then 2021, early 2021, I went back to St. Lucia. My boss called me again because the situation has changed. Business starting to pull back.
And that's when you come back
to St. Lucia, to the same resort, which is Sandals Laptop, in 2021.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was there with them again, and he said, this time make sure you don't resign. If you resign, I will not give you a second chance again.
How old is he?
He was, I think, 45. He's not too much far from me.
So he's like
he's like a brother. Yes, like a brother to me.
Yeah.
He's the corporate F&B, and then we have a very good rapport working together. So he was like, okay, I'll take you back, but make sure this time you don't resign again. I will not give you a second chance again. And guess what? I did resign.
Vietnam calls. Yeah. Vietnam calls. Yeah.
So in 2022, I resigned. I said bye to him, and this time he was so upset. He said, you see I helped you to come back, now you're leaving me again. I said, okay, it's life. I got a job in Finpol.
Yeah.
At that time, actually, there are two offers for me. Movenpick Cameron and Finpol Natrang Bay.
Cameron.
Yes, there are two.
Yeah.
Movenpick Cameron offered me as a EAM already. And Finpol offered me as a director of food and beverage. So I was a little bit confused. Which one should I choose? Salary wise, Finpol pay you almost double. Huh?
Yeah.
They're very good when it comes to remuneration. Yes. So then, I look at the profile of each. I decided, then I choose Finpol. And I was assigned in Natrang, Entree Island, in Natrang Bay.
Yeah.
It's one of the largest resort there. It's 900 rooms. So it's like an airport.
Yeah.
It's
an airport.
It's a massive operation every day, But it was my first Vietnam experience. First time in Vietnam and first time working in Vietnam in 2022. I worked very well with the brand. As much as, they are very strict with the policy and procedures, but I was able to ride the wave with them. I implemented a lot of new things there. Until today, I think they are still using my concept.
Yeah.
One is the beach club. I turn around the beach club into Balinese style beach club and producing a good result. And I implemented a new upscale Italian restaurant in one of the outlet, and then Korean barbecue. It was all my concept, and the chairman approved it. Now they're still there. So that was my achievement in the Fin Group.
Wow.
And then
Back.
back to the Caribbean because my killer GM, I don't know if you remember, from Sandals.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He was appointed as a vice president of this group, which is the Blue Diamond that I mentioned earlier during the.
And then he's still there.
I think he left now. So he was promoted to the vice president operation. So he was building his team, and then he called me. He approached me.
Yes.
He said, "Martin, listen, I know you are happy in Vietnam. You're living a life, but I think I need you."
Wow.
He said, "Would you consider to come back to the Caribbean, this side of the world, as a regional director?"
That's why you start to manage like 3 countries.
3 countries, 5 different resorts.
Yeah. Wow.
He said, I have many trust on you. I want you to run it as my regional director.
When you listen to it, you just share. The guy called you because he trusts you to put you in charge to help him when he's got the promotion. It says a lot about the way that you live, the way that you work, especially when you left him, but then by the time that he needed, scroll the phone and who's calling?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's beautiful.
Yes. It's a trust, no?
Yeah.
That is very expensive, right?
Yes.
You can
priceless, right?
You can be the best person, you can be the smartest person, but when nobody trusts you, it means nothing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to. So I said, you know what? I'm happy in Vietnam actually, and I have to think about it, because my goal was to go back to Asia. Now you're pulling me back again to the Caribbean. So he said, yeah, take your time and think about it. And then yes, in mid of 2023, 1 year complete with FinPro. I said, I want to complete 1 year with them. I don't want to jump around. So if you want me, you have to wait for me until August. I said, that's my anniversary, and I will tell them not to renew my contract. But actually, Vinpol was very impressed with my performance as well.
Of course, yeah.
Because I was the only expat that was put in the part of the Rising Star program. I was about to promote it to become the director of operation in the Fin Group, and I was the only expat. My GM, I had an expat GM. He pushes me. He said, "I want you to be the director of operation." Guy, right? He was he was Spanish. He was Spanish. So yeah, I was doing well with them, and that I had to go because this challenge in the Caribbean is an interesting challenge. It's a regional, sitting in the corporate office. I can't resist that. It's a good opportunity for me to sit in the corporate office to see how the corporate world working. So yes, I was fortunate to accept the job, and then I went to Antigua. The Antigua is also in the Caribbean.
It's a country.
Yes, it's a country. That's where
I'm so jealous with you. Yes. I don't know all these countries.
You will know. That's where the base is. So we based there as a regional office in the Antigua, but we travel a lot. We go, of course, as a regional, you travel, you visited places. We go to Mexico, we go to the US, in the few countries that we operate. And then I said, yes, okay. I knew already a little bit about how the corporate world is, but I miss Vietnam. That's when I'm starting again to look for a job in Vietnam. That's where I found Zania by Sano in the LinkedIn.
Yeah. Welcome back. So he needs you also, my friend.
Yes. So that's how the story ending up.
Look at it. Spend your high school year with grandma, 4.5, 5 hours from Surabaya to her island, and went to the academy to become a police, but it failed. And then when your friend took you into the the school for F&B.
Accidentally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and accidentally now traveling the world,
Yeah.
building teams, cross cultures, and be trustworthy person
Yeah.
that big boss calling when they needed it,
Yeah.
make transformation.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the journey for that 20 plus years,
Yeah.
what's the biggest lesson you have to today about life, about work?
Never ever give up your dream. I think that's the only thing I can say to people who ever listen to this story,
Yeah.
Like, you coming from nobody, but you can be somebody, and you have to make an impact in someone's life. I think that's the message. Wherever I go to places, I always have the motivation to make the place better, to make the people surround you better with whatever you have. Better does not mean financially. Better means, you're able to touch someone's heart.
Yeah.
You make an impact in their life. During my course as a director of food and beverage, my restaurant manager prior, I always empower my people. And, until today, they are still talking to me. Until now, people are still sending me message, Mr. Christian, thank you very much. I will never forget how you believe in me. You make me a permanent staff, from a daily worker to permanent staff. You were my biggest support. Things like that. This is the one that means a lot to me, because you made an impact to someone else's life.
Yeah.
Through small decisions that you make.
Yeah.
Because once you become a leader in this industry, or I think in any industry,
Yeah.
you have to remember that your decision is either break people or make people.
Cool.
So be a good leader, and use your heart when you make a decision.
Wow. Look at you. How could you not be a good leader? In your life is blessing with a lot of people.
Correct.
During challenging time.
Yeah.
And perhaps, like the lady at the counter for American Airlines say, don't worry about that. She will take care for you. And she did.
She was an angel for me.
Yes, she's an angel for you. And that's a prime example for you to become angel to someone else.
Correct.
Life also.
Correct.
Yeah.
Spread the positivity from, because you were helped by someone, and you can never forget. I wish I could have met her again.
Yeah.
And say thank you to her.
What if she's the one who listened to this one? You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Or a friend of hers who listened to this, or someone
else
to know her also. So,
exactly.
And share our stories the way to help people to know the kindness of the world, the beauty of the world.
Absolutely.
You look at your life, all of the challenge. You came to the US, $150 in the pocket. Spend 10% on the sandwich.
and the bottle of juice.
And the bottle of juice.
Yes.
And that $15 could be the whole world for you back then. Because making that decision is, you have to, right? Yeah, it's for surviving, yeah. And if you came to the Bermuda, so your luggage is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was expecting the luggage was gone, but actually it's still there,
God has planned for everything. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Last year, Vivian, she's out there. Vivian and I spent a few months together during our free time to listen to every conversation that we had in the interview that we had, right? And we asked ourselves what else that we could do instead of just sharing a conversation like this. What else that we could extract from, the collective wisdom in here. And we coined the term newness intelligence. So ability to, to know the newness thing in life, to lean into the newness thing in life, to make the best of the new things in life, or even in the existing, that how can you see it differently, that bring the new out of the existing situation. Like you come to the hotel, do the transformation, the situation there, you come and you do something new from there. So you have that newness intelligence inside of you. And we work with a lot of, like experts, researchers, psychologists at the moment to bring that concept into life, and maybe through writing, through sharing, and through conversation like this. And you look at your life, different things, different country, different teams, different setting, different situations, right? And those are newness in there. So when you think of newness, how do you define it in your own word?
That's a very nice question. I think it's about how you drive a change.
How you try and change.
A change.
Okay.
Because nothing in this life is permanent. I believe, things are changed day by day. So you need to always adapt to it.
Yeah.
And willing to be open-minded to accept the change every day. Not many people that I have encountered that willing to accept new in their life. They are comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my way of doing. This is it. This is work for me. It's good for me. Why should I change?
Yeah.
But sometimes we forgot that change is always good.
Yeah.
With the change, you're able to explore something different in doing certain way.
Wow.
So I think this is the answer that I can give you.
It's very beautiful.
Never close yourself, or never say no to a change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And I hope that the people who listen to this will be more open and not afraid of change.
Yes.
Because when they enter into the new things, that's the way for them to explore the potential and possibility inside of them that they yet discover.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know if you watch this movie, Forrest Gump.
Yes.
By Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like one of the quote in that movie. He said that life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what's next. So I'm holding to that. Life is full of surprise.
Yeah. Your life
Stay
is full
positive.
of beautiful
Stay
surprises.
positive.
Yeah.
And all the good things will come to you.
When I ask you about the newness, your answer start with the word I think. Remember?
Sorry?
Your response was starting with the word I think.
Yes.
Yes. And you pause for a while.
Yes.
You start to pick in words
Yes.
after words, right?
Yes.
And I love it.
Yes.
Because my wife and I will love to help people to improve their ability to think. We believe that our thinking capabilities for many people nowadays going like this.
Yes.
Because so many noise, so many distractions,
Yes.
so many things impacting the ability to think. So conversation like this is one of the best way that we can extract insight, tips, and wisdom that successful and accomplished people have been applying their lives. So people can listen, maybe adopt some of that in their life, so that can bring them back their ability to think, and perhaps that's where the positive change can start. All right.
Correct.
So a big question for you, my friend. So how have you been expanding your ability to think over the years?
Nice question. Because I think also that it takes time for one person to be able to pause and reach to the level where maturity is there, and everybody describe or interpret maturity in different way. For me, if you ask that question to me, the answer should be time will answer.
Wow.
Give a time. For me to reach to this place, to this position, whatever it is, it required times. I'm still learning. Until today, I'm still think that I'm not yet there. There's still more for me to learn how to be a good EM, how to be a good GM one day. You know, what is the thing that I should say? What is the thing that I shouldn't say? What is the thing that I should do and I shouldn't do? You know, and through that process, you will make a lot of mistake in between.
Wow.
But do not be scared or do not be worried about the mistake that you did because it's part of it. You know, you cannot have a successful life without making mistake. Cannot. There's nobody will ever have a straight, perfect life. There's nobody.
Yeah.
In that process, they will make mistake. I will make a wrong decision. I will make a wrong call. I will raise my voice. I will hurt somebody. You know, somebody will hurt me. You know, somebody will hate me. It's part of that.
Yeah.
But once you're able to overcome all of this, you can be a person that wiser, that make a better decision, better call, and better words to say to somebody. You know?
Yes.
And it takes time. You know,
Yes.
me today, if you compare to 10 years ago when I was in the Caribbean, I'm a two different person. You know, I was used to, you know, aggressive, you know, I don't have wise or wisdom words to share to people sometimes, right? But now after the years, then I learn, you know, the certain things you shouldn't say, the certain things that you shouldn't say as a leader to somebody else because, you know, your words, as I mentioned earlier, either you make someone or you break someone.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you need wisdom to choose.
You say wisdom to choose in there, but before you say the word wisdom to choose, you use the word learn. There are people through time, they're not changing at all. Because that learning capacity or the willingness to learn and to make the difference is low to or zero, right?
And sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
You're right. That is when the one words that I missed to say, you need to be humble.
Humble.
Humility
Yes.
is the second key.
Yeah.
You need to be humble for you to be able to make a change. For yourself first, you need to change yourself. You can't change others.
Yeah.
Because you can't control other people. What you can control is yourself. And it takes you to be humble or humility to be able to reach that.
Beautiful. The next question I wanna ask you is few last questions.
Sure.
Okay. I think it's about patience. The word is lack of patience. A lot of people. It's constantly gratification at the moment, you know, jump to the next one, jump to the next one. And when I interview so many accomplished people, I see the huge level of patience. Like you say, time, waiting, you work hard, you do your hours, you walk to work in the dark, you walk to work in the cold, and you try your best, right? You really try your best, and it take you to the next level, take you to the next level. Where did you find that strong and that strength to wait and the patience to wait for the moment? I think that is very important to share for other people because maybe the people out there in the kitchen here, the restaurant here, want to hear that, so they're not gonna give up along the way because, you know, there may be the bigger prize there for them if they wait and continue to do their best.
Dream.
Yeah, you see, I changed my position. Yes, tell me more. Dream.
It's about what is your dream. First of all, as a everybody in, you know, as all of us, I think, I believe everybody of us has a dream. And your dream is different than my dream. So once you identify what is it, what is the purpose of my life, and you stick to it, this will not change you.
Yeah.
You know, as I mentioned to you, my dream was to see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And I know my capacity. I won't be able to travel to the US. You know, I came from a poor family. You know, there's no way that I can just buy a ticket today and then go to fly to New York. You know, but my dream was clear. Simple dream. I want to see the Statue of Liberty. How to get there? I need to find out myself.
Beautiful.
And you know, if you think as a human logic, how can this guy coming from the bush in Indonesia, you know, was able to go to New York? You know, how?
Close to zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
I have no reason to be there. You know, but I never give up on my dream. I want it.
Yeah.
And once you put it in your mind, every day when you sleep, when you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing you think. I want to see the Liberty Statue. I want to see, you know, it drives you.
Yeah.
It drives you get closer to it every single day. And then, you know, that's the power of it.
Manifestation.
Yes, that's where the power when you work and you set, you program in your brain. Your brain doesn't know the difference between the reality and the dream.
Yeah.
You know, all your brain program is whatever you say to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's possible. It's possible, and I am the living testimony.
Exactly.
You know,
Your story.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this story.
You're
because
welcome.
that we definitely inspire a lot of
Yes.
people, young or old.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Inspire people
Yes.
to start to dream again, start to pursue
Of course,
the dream again.
of course, you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you can. If I want to travel with you one more time, and this time is the last time we travel to this conversation, okay? Travel time, I mean. I bring you to the deporting room.
To the
Deporting room.
deported
Yeah.
room. Yes.
When the immigrant officer brought you there, and there's a high chance that you're gonna be sent back
To Indonesia. Yeah.
So your dream about the future is like dark.
Dark.
You know, yeah. Your father borrowed money for you to go to the US, to go to the Bermuda, to pursue your dream, and it seems like, you know, ahead of you is like the tunnel is full of darkness and there is no light.
That's it. That's it. You're doomed.
Yeah, you're doomed, right? And now you and I open the door, get into the sit next to you back then, and find that very room. You have a word to yourself. What is it you're going to talk to that young self?
What should I say to them?
Yeah, to you.
You mean
You and I enter into that room
Yes,
now,
yes.
and we have a chance to
Yes.
meet your young self then.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
21 years old, right?
Yes.
And you're going to talk to him.
Yes.
So what is that you're going to talk to him?
Wow. Wow. That's a very difficult question, huh?
Imagination with me. Yeah, imagine with me. You know.
Wow, that's a tough one. What should I say to my younger self at that time?
At that time, at that particular.
I think I can only say one word.
Yes.
One. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
That's it. Because I was afraid.
I will be afraid too. Also, I'm in that situation.
And that time there was nobody, you know, that convinced me to not be afraid. There's nobody. I was brave because brave was my only choice.
Yeah.
At that time. You know, there was nobody. I couldn't call my parents. The only person I called was my human resources director.
Yeah.
You know, because if I call my parents, I knew that they couldn't do anything either.
Yeah.
What can they do? Right? So, you know, if it's a beautiful question, it's a tough one, but it's a nice question. I think if I was able to revisit that room together with you, and I see my younger self over there, I think only one word I'm going to tell him, just don't be afraid. Everything will be okay.
Yeah. Thank you. That mental toughness that you had with yourself, there was no other option, only you to deal with that situation, right? You make the best of that. You didn't even know how to make the best of it. You just need to
I
do
don't even
something.
speak the language properly.
Yeah.
I was going to open my dictionary and start reading.
And look at that later on. What is that gonna fear you? That's nothing can be fearful for you. You know, that moment that you be able to figure out instead of like
Give up.
giving up. Right? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The last question to this beautiful conversation, and thank you. This is very beautiful conversation.
Thank you. I think you said that to everybody too.
No. Of course, everyone will have their own different story, right?
Unique.
And I share with you. And in our newness framework, the first letter S in the framework is share your stories.
Wow.
Amazing people are really not afraid of share their stories because it's the way for them to show the world who they are and the way to lift up other people in the world also. And you need to share more of your story, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share.
Thank you.
You lead the way, and it was all natural.
Yeah. No question. No preparation whatsoever. There's nothing coming from zero, and I like it.
Yes.
The last part of the conversation is for us to appreciate the people that has good impact in your life.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you can, I know this one is also not a fair question for you.
Okay.
But I will ask you to pick one person in your life, and it's not someone in your family. Okay. Who has great impact on your life and your journey to today, that's still alive, that we can talk to that person. You can talk to that person through this conversation.
Okay.
And say anything you want about him or her and how he or she had impact into your journey to today. We're gonna cut this and send it to that person as a surprise gift. Okay. So who that
Wow, this is a tough one. This is very tough.
Yes.
Because I have encountered
so many.
Yes. And each of them contributed
differently, right?
Differently.
Yeah.
Wow, you got me on this. Wow. I owe a lot of people in my life. When I say I owe, not financially, but moral, support, advice, power. But I think there's one person.
Okay.
I was dating her for quite a while in my time in Bermuda.
In Bermuda. Okay.
She helped me a lot in teaching me English.
Wow.
Because I was dating her, her English is 10 times more than I was. So I was able to be confident in communication, in formal English, writing, email, listening skill is because of her. So I think there are many of people surround me that contribute to my journey, but I think this person is a very special. And I think I owe her a lot. Yeah. So if you ask me, then I would say thank you maybe to this person. Because of her, she was able to build me to the better me today. Wow. In terms of English communication and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I lost contact with her.
Another angel in life.
Really. Yes, we do not talk to each other anymore since we broke up. But maybe one day this video will reach to her. I just want to say thank you.
Wow.
She really made an impact to me. And we end up in a disaster way. We are not had a happy ending together as two people in love. But I think she deserved to hear this one day.
Wow.
So thank you very much. You helped me a lot in my early career. And I will never forget, those moments.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we end this conversation, I'm going outside and I say thank you to Vivian. Like your situation, Vivian was the one who taught me English. I was devastating when I was in the US because of language. The country is speaking the language that I'm not speaking, and my confidence level like I keep shrinking and shrinking into smaller and smaller, so I'm not gonna be exposed to other people for conversation.
Yeah.
She was the one who relentlessly teach me, and I will have a big kiss and thank
Similar.
you for this. Yeah, similar. We have a lot of similarity in this. And my friend, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your time driving all the way from Saigon to Queen, Daklak.
Yeah.
And then nice to share with you. You know, you make me emotional a few times already during the 1 hour time.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that, you know, I was able to share a little bit of my story.
Very inspiring.
Professionally, because the private life I didn't open up much.
Yeah.
But the professional journey, I think I share mostly. But yeah, I'm so happy right now in Vietnam. I will stay here as much as I can.
Yes.
You know, I would like to contribute more to the country, to the community.
Thank you.
To the brand, you know, as the best of my capacity.
Thank you. Thank you. And the country needs a lot of people like you to come and help us to go to the next level, to the next level. Have the team out there to build the confidence.
Confidence.
Right? And now you are in the position to be angel to so many people.
Exactly.
Yes. So
we have the opportunity.
Be the best angel you could be.
To help somebody else.
Yes. Yes.
I agree.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah.
Simple.